Nowadays, everyone has a voice online, but ironically, people seem to be listening to each other less and less. It's a common practice to block people who think differently from yourself and avoid discussing issues. We like to create bubbles to connect ourselves with people who are very similar to us. But what if we really listened and communicated with someone who is very different from ourselves? My name is Susan Gare. I'm from the United States. I'm 64 years old. I speak English and Spanish, and I've been teaching for more than 40 years.
I'm Manuela, but my friends call me Manu. I live in Recife, Brazil. I'm 31. I speak Portuguese and English, and I've been teaching for 10 years. We come from different countries, cultures, and time zones, and we've never met in person.
We were paired in a Google Innovator project, me the mentor and Manu the mentee. Typically, a mentor advises and helps the mentee with a project or idea. But in our case, it turned into co-creation rather than advice. This helped us to create a deep connection, deeper than some of our day-to-day real-life relationships. We became able to support, care, and motivate each other in ways we never thought possible.
We live in a globally connected environment where most work and learning are done online. Social media and other online platforms have given voice to many people, but that communication can be superficial. For example, when you log on to Facebook or Twitter and peruse the postings, how often do you meaningfully communicate with one of your friends? Most humans need time to absorb information mentally, physically, and emotionally. Nowadays, we have so much information that sometimes it is difficult to process. So, how can you use these platforms to listen, collaborate, and be more empathetic to others? Especially when we deal with people from different cultures and backgrounds, it's so easy to be misunderstood. So, how can we ensure a deep and meaningful connection will occur? These are the things we are exploring in this talk.
At first, when we met, I had my assumptions about what a mentor-mentee relationship was. I was supposed to lead, and she was supposed to follow. However, this is not what happened. I had to learn about Brazilian teachers. Helping Manu figure out how to help Brazilian teachers in a Brazilian context was very challenging. I had to learn to listen to her concerns very carefully and imagine myself in that cultural context. I think that was when our relationship became much deeper, when I realized how little I knew about her.
We started connecting emotionally, learning more about each other's interests like reading and culture. A great connection has multiple layers of learning, both emotionally and professionally. We learned to care about one another, and this was expressed through genuine interest in the other person. For example, in one or two of our meetings, we spent almost half the time talking about a book Susan and I had just read. These books were really important to show us how much we have in common with each other.
They brought important lessons that related to our topic and that we could practice in our real-life relationship. For instance, the book Bias by Jennifer L. Eberhard has shown us the importance of being aware of our own individual biases related to race. In addition, it helped us to expand the discussion and understand that we have biases related to the way we perceive things and how enriching it is to expand our perspectives. Through our discussions of this book, we found that we were more alike than different, and this really surprised us. The human species is created to be social and crave interaction. That is a universal. By really listening and caring about each other, we got through the layers of difference and found out that deep down we are all alike.
Another important aspect in a deep connection is honesty. For example, at some point in my project, I was working with a teacher to help her integrate technology into her science fair project. we had decided to use a quiz so students could practice language. However, the students were just not engaged. At first, I wasn't sure about what the problem was. I was honest with Susan, and she provided me with a safe space where I could discuss new ideas for my project.
I kept asking for information about what Manu thought was lacking. Finally, she told me about the lack of student engagement, and I said, "Oh, that's great. Mistakes are opportunities to learn." And I shared stories where my students did meaningful things with technology.
Having someone to talk to with a different perspective is wonderful because it helps you see things in a different light. Susan showed me that the real value of technology is not the teacher making it, but rather the students using it to demonstrate learning. This was a really powerful advice and helped improve students' learning and engagement.
I learned this through my students. My students were creating presentations about different countries. I told them they needed to start off with something interactive, but I didn't tell them how. One student came in with a quiz about Panama. It was really great fun. Another student saw this and decided to transfer quiz making into her credit classes. She applied this learning to her life and thanked me for it. We are still connected. Giving people space to experiment and giving them safe spaces for these experiences fosters a deep connection.
By being willing to listen to me and open to discuss new ideas, she empowered me to rethink my innovator project with the help of the teacher and the students. Rather than just having students present their knowledge, as is common practice in science fairs, students were empowered to create their own Jeopardy game using technology for the parents and the community to play at the science fair. The students created the questions for the audience and a dictionary as a gift for the winners. The students were able to present their learning in a fun and interactive way. The presentation was a success not only because students enjoyed the process and parents were surprised with the results, but because they were empowered to create something meaningful the same way I was.
So how do deep connections get created? You need to listen,
To care,
to be aware of your own biases,
to be honest,
to provide safe spaces for people around you. These are the ingredients for deep connections. They empowered us to dig more deeply as mentor-mentee, and now we are creating this TED Talk. And we still haven't met yet, but it doesn't matter because we have created a deep connection between us that will never go away. Share your experiences and continue the connections with us by using the hashtag #ConnectionsMatter. Special thanks to our connections who inspired us and helped us create this TED Talk. Without their inspirations, this TED Talk would not exist.
Thank you for listening, and don't let physical spaces define your